And I think it wasn't, I never had made this conscious decision, no, now I'm going to write songs, but I think it was this combination of loving books and writing and always having music in my life. My mother sings, my sister sings.
Do you remember the timeless song, Give Me One Reason? The legend behind the magic didn't have a soft start. Yes, it's all about Tracey Chapman, a strong advocate for social rights and a unique lifestyle. People are intrigued by this musician, but what caused her sudden downfall? Let's find out. What's the one thing you all loved about rock music queen? It's definitely her versatile approach to music and her amazing soulful blues-style vocals and liveliness, but also not to forget her protest-style music detailing the lives of the African American community. But the story behind her success and downfall is quite dramatic. But what inspired Tracey to pursue music? Let's dive into Tracey's story. So, Tracey was always a quiet and shy girl who loved spending time by herself. She had a deep passion for animals and music right from a young age, and you know what's really cool? Just like others, her biggest inspiration was her talented musician mom, Hazel. Hazel even gifted Tracey her very first instrument, that being a ukulele when she was just 3 years old. According to her original biopic, the ukulele was stolen by a girl who was supposed to be one of her best friends and lived across the street. Can you imagine losing a souvenir from your childhood? But things weren't always easy for Tracey. Growing up in a rough neighborhood with a single mother definitely had its challenges. She began to write simple songs and poems when she was just 8 years old. And guess what? At around the age of 12, she learned to play the clarinet and even picked up her mother's guitar. By the time she was 14, she had already composed theme songs, with one of them being called Cleveland 78. Tracey's journey is truly fascinating, isn't it? Now, during high school in Ohio, Tracey faced racial bullying and was even brutally beaten by white students. It's so messed up. In an interview, she talked about how she was threatened with a gun by another student, telling her to run or else she'd be shot. That's terrifying. But luckily, Tracey got her scholarship to a Worcester school in Danbury, Connecticut, which allowed her to escape the violence. It was a turning point in her life, sparking her political awakening and paving the way for her success. It's incredible how she overcame those personal struggles. So, get this. Tracey was surrounded by students from wealthy backgrounds during her first year at boarding school, and she felt pretty angry about the attitudes she had encountered. But you know what? That anger actually inspired her to write one of her most significant early songs called Thinking About a Revolution. It's such a powerful song, and guess what? It ended up being released as one of the singles from her debut album and became one of her best works. Pretty amazing, right? Tracey's college days were filled with so much music exploration. She performed at small cafes, churches, and venues, slowly started making a name for herself, and that's pretty impressive, right? And get this, one of Tracey's classmates, Brian Coleman, was on the lookout for a musician, and he told his father, Charles Copeland, about Tracey. Now, Charles Copeland was a big shot in the music publishing industry with his company SPK. Can you believe it? Tracey ended up meeting Elliot Roberts through this connection and he became her manager. It's like everything fell into place for her. So awesome. On April 5th, 1988, Tracey dropped her debut self-titled album and it was a total game changer. You know what song was on there? Fast Car. That track became a massive hit, and people couldn't get enough of Tracey's heartfelt lyrics and soulful voice. It's no wonder she earned multiple Grammy Awards and gained international fame. She's just that talented. Oh, and get this. Tracey was even invited to perform at Nelson Mandela's 70th birthday celebration. Can you imagine being asked to perform for such an iconic figure? Man, it's just incredible how Tracey's music touched so many people and opened up these amazing opportunities for her. But Tracey's success didn't stop there. Throughout the 90s, she kept releasing albums that showcased her incredible songwriting skills as well as emotional depth. One of her albums, Crossroads, which came out on October 3rd, 1989, shed light on the struggles faced by African Americans and those living in poverty in the US. Tracey wasn't afraid to tackle important social issues through her music. Have you heard her song Bridges? It's another gem from that album, and it's all about reflecting on the end of a relationship and the ghosts from our past that come back to haunt us. So relatable, right? Tracey's last commercially successful album, New Beginnings, was all about wanting the world to start fresh and have a rebirth. It's like she was calling for a fresh start and a better future for everyone. Such powerful themes in her music. Tracey's discography is just filled with incredible songs and meaningful messages. She's definitely made her mark in the music industry. The next chapter in her life began on 26th February 1997 when she received her Grammy, but wait, there's still more. She also won the Record of the Year, Song of the Year, and Best Female Rock Vocal Performance. Amazing, isn't it? Well, that's just the beginning. Here's more. Did you know that she's a 4-time Grammy Award winner? That's a huge accomplishment. But wait, it gets even better. In the same year, she appeared alongside blues legend B.B. King for his track, The Thrill Is Gone. Can you imagine collaborating with such a music icon? It must have been an unforgettable experience for Tracey. After that, Tracey took a break from the music industry for a little while, but she made a comeback in 1999. She went back to the studio and released her 5th studio album titled Telling Stories on February 14th, 2000. Valentine's Day release. How cool is that? And get this, in October 2002, Tracey's 6th studio album called Let It Rain reached number 25 on the US Billboard. It sold a whopping 1.3 million records. That's such a huge achievement for Tracey. But wait, there's even more. Tracey later released her 7th studio album titled Where You Live, and guess what? It sold around 6 million copies worldwide. That's mind-blowing. But Tracey's impact goes beyond just her music. She's also been actively involved in the anti-apartheid movement in South Africa. She used her platform to bring attention to the cause and even performed at various events. It's so inspiring to see artists using their influence for a positive change, don't you think? Tracey is just truly remarkable. Here's the scoop. When Tracey was 44 years old, she released her 8th and final studio album called Our Bright Future on November 8, 2008. And guess what? She performed one of her last late shows with David Letterman and even paid tribute to Ben E. King by singing Stand By Me. It was so incredible that the performance went viral on social media, especially on YouTube. It's interesting to think why Tracey Chapman's desire for commercial success in the music industry decreased. It seems like things took a turn for her. She was dealing with the pressures of fame and the demands of the music industry. And being a private person, it was tough for her to balance her artistic integrity with the commercial expectations. Can you imagine how challenging that must have been? On top of that, she faced relentless criticism from the media. That's definitely not easy on anyone's mental and emotional well-being. In the early 2000s, Tracey kinda disappeared from the public eye. It was like she vanished into thin air, but here's the inside scoop. Turns out, Tracey was quietly battling health issues during that time. And on top of that, she experienced the heartbreaking loss of her mother, who had been ill for a while. It's no wonder she needed a break from the spotlight to prioritize her own well-being. It's important to take care of ourselves, right? Even though Tracey Chapman stepped away from the spotlight, her soulful melodies touch the hearts of people everywhere, even now. And her music reminds us of the power of being true to ourselves and never giving up. Here's the thought to wrap it up. What lasting impact has Chapman's legacy left on the music world? Share your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.